President Clinton has paid tribute to the bravery of US and Allied pilots on the 50th anniversary of the Berlin airlift. Hundreds of veterans gathered at the Tempelhof airport to commemorate one of history's greatest humanitarian air rescues. With Chancellor Kohl alongside him, Clinton led the celebrations. Tempelhof Airport in the heart of Berlin was the main operating base for the 15-month airlifts that began in June 1948. The Soviets had blocked all transport in or out of West Berlin, so the Allies flew in emergency aid and medicine in what became known as the Berlin airlifts. At its peak, there was nearly one plane every 90 seconds.
But the most precious cargo did not come in the well-named care packages. It was instead the hope created by the constant roar of the planes overhead. Berliners call this noise a symphony of freedom, reminding you that Berlin was not alone and that freedom was no flight of imagination.
And there was still time for a little good old-fashioned Cold War rhetoric.
If the communists could fight with fear, then we would fight back with friendship and faith.
38 Britons and 1 American lost their lives in the airlift. Chancellor Kohl thanked the veterans, saying that Berlin owed its very survival and freedom to their sacrifices. President Clinton will be leaving Berlin today and will be in Birmingham this weekend for the G8 summit. Well, that last episode of Seinfeld is threatening to overshadow an important sale of impressionist and modern art at Sotheby's in New York. However, the auctioneers have little to worry about, as the bidding at yesterday's sale produced record prices. As impressionist and modern art went under the hammer in Sotheby's yesterday, it became apparent that there was keen interest in the genre. Le Grand Canal, painted by Claude Monet on his first trip to Venetian 1908, fetched the evening's highest price of $12.1 million. Edgar Degas' nude Après la Bien sold for $6.6 million. This silver Titien Monsieur Turenne, made between 1735 and 1740 in Paris by Juste Auriel and described by Sotheby's as the most exciting piece of silver Western decorative art, sold for $5.7 million, making it the second highest price at auction for silver. These prices break the record at the peak of the market in 1989. 2 more sales are scheduled for today. Chelsea's footballers arrived back in London this morning after last night's victory. They beat Stuttgart 1-0 in Stockholm to take the European Cup Winners' Cup. The celebrations followed. Even the builders at Heathrow stopped work to welcome back the tired but victorious team. And Chelsea's captain took the opportunity to show off his medal.
It's pushed us up higher, which is nice, and hopefully we can do better next year. Okay, cheers, chaps.
The Prime Minister has sent his congratulations to the club. Everyone was pleased with their performance.
We're happy with this season's progress, and we'll start focusing on next season when we come back in July.
The winning goal was scored by Gianfranco Zola, who was brought on as a substitute 20 minutes before the end of the match. 13,000 fans travelled to Stockholm. Police reported only 6 arrests. Some well-known Chelsea supporters expressed their delight at the success of the team and their fans.
I think it was, a very happy occasion. As far as I know, there wasn't any trouble. Certainly we haven't had any reported. Very good.
Well, of course they behaved well. I mean, what would you expect them to do? I mean, everyone saying, what about the trouble that might be? I mean, the fact is that we go there to enjoy ourselves. We've had a great time. We've come back with a cup.
It seems there's universal agreement it was a great night for Chelsea and British football. And 50 years on, President Clinton and Chancellor Kohl remember the Berlin airlift. The next news is at 6 on BBC One, but from all of us here on the 3 o'clock team, good afternoon. The legal ceasefire between the US Justice Department and Microsoft is over. The giant software company has decided to begin shipping its Windows 98 package. Microsoft's many commercial rivals are also now poised for legal action in what would be a test case. The company's founder and chairman, Bill Gates, is disappointed at the lack of an amicable solution.
For the past 10 days, we worked very hard to make the negotiation succeed because we believe a lawsuit would be bad for consumers, bad for taxpayers, and bad for the entire computer industry. We explored a wide range of ways to resolve the matter, but unfortunately, the government made a number of non-negotiable demands.
The catalyst in the latest Windows debate is the Microsoft Internet Browser. It's included as part of Windows 98, but rivals such as Netscape see this as being unfair practice. 9 out of 10 PCs in the US use Windows, therefore compelling them to have Microsoft products. It's expected the Justice Department and several states will issue legal action. If they do, the outcome is bound to make legal history and change the computer software industry.
Joining me now is our Consumer Affairs correspondent, James Harness. So, James, why were the two sides unable to come to an agreement?
Well, the Justice Department asked Microsoft to do a couple of things. Among them was for them to hide their own internet browser icon, or at least not make it so prominent on the screen. Another thing they asked them to do was to actually include the Netscape Navigator included in the package, but Microsoft said that those demands were unreasonable.
So what happens next?
Well, there'll probably be lawsuits from the Justice Department. They'll be accusing Microsoft of being an illegal monopoly. Now, there were talks at the weekend which fell apart, so this really casts doubt on whether the release of the new Windows 98 package will actually happen on schedule, which is June the 25th. Now, what the Justice Department can do is issue an injunction against all the stocks of the Windows 98 that's going to be sent to consumers and actually freeze them until the matter's settled. Now, this will infuriate Bill Gates, who reckons that this is going to stifle innovation.
OK, James, I'll stop you there. Thank you very much.